Hello everyone, this is Ms. Kim, and today's topic on the Web Savvy Cafe will be about resizing and alignment. So let's get started. Let's take a look at the width of a column. And if I want to change the width of this column, if I think that the space of each cell in this column between the left and the right is smaller than what I'd like it to be, I can actually click on A, which is representative of this whole column, and I can right click and then I can scroll down to column width. So I'll click that, and as you can see, the default for the column width is 8.43, and I would like to change that to 20 and click OK, and then watch column A. So as you can see, it increased in width. Just column A, none of the other cells or columns or rows in this workbook on this particular worksheet. So you'll hear me say workbook and worksheet interchangeably sometimes, and I'm trying to get you to realize that people call things in different names or different nomenclature, and worksheet is actually what I'm working on, this sheet 1 that I haven't named within the workbook, and then sometimes people call it a spreadsheet as well. Okay, so let's continue with this. Now let's say, for example, and I'm going to undo this so that you can see the effect, that I wanted everything to be sized differently like that. Then I could right click, and in this case it's not shown here. Now what I can do to circumvent that is I can go up to format, click on format, and then you can see here column width is here. Now it was there all along, but I just chose to do it the other way. This time I'm going to do it this way, and there's no default column width. And since this one is already pretty large and I'm not sure if it's 20 or above, I'm going to choose 50, just to exaggerate and show you what it looks like. Click OK, and as you can see, each column changed in width to the default of 50. And that's how you change the width of cells in this Excel worksheet. Now let's go into changing the height of a row. So for example, I'll click on row 3 and I want to change the height of it. I think it's too short from the top to the bottom. So since I have it all selected, I will right click and then go down to row height. And as you can see, you don't see the column width any longer. Excel understands that we're not going to deal with the width right now since I've clicked on the whole horizontal row. And I'll click row height, and as you can see here, the default here is 15. So I'm going to double that, and I will type in the number 30, and then we'll see what happens. So as you can see, it only adjusted the row that I had selected, and that's exactly what I wanted. Now if you'd like to have everything changed the same way, I can always do the same as I did before. I can highlight it all, and now this time if I right click, it's not going to show up, but we know where it is, right? It's over here in the format, row height. It says 15, and I'd like to change it to 30. Now as you can see, every last cell changed its height to 30, and it's just as simple as that. There's another thing I'd like to show you. I will go back, and I can choose a Control A, and that's on my keyboard. You can hit the Control key, you can hold it, and then press the letter A, and it will select not just the data on this worksheet, but the entire worksheet, which means that wherever you put information in the future, you won't have to worry about formatting the width or the height any longer. It's already set to do so. And so I will go up now to Format, and this time I will say Autofit Row Height, and let's see what happens. Okay, now nothing happened in this case because it feels like everything is already at the height that it needs to be. Now if I decided that I wanted to change that, I could go Format, Row Height. I could change the row height to 30 like we did before, and now while everything is still selected, I could come back up to Format and say Autofit Row Height, and let's see what happens. And as you can see, now it changed it back. So you can use that if you change some heights, things of that nature, or possibly a width, and then you decide, you know what, I really didn't like that, and I don't remember where it actually was, and then you can do an auto fit and actually start over. So that's the information on how to actually change the height and the width of the cells, and you can use this for tables as well, and I'll show you how to do that, because in general this is a table. It just doesn't look like a table right now, a fancy table, but it is. I'd also like to show you a quick trick. So everything is selected now, so I'm just going to click anywhere on the table or the worksheet and unselect all of that. And if I want to change, let's say, the height of cell A2, when you change the height of it, you don't have to choose everything in that particular row, because it's one of those things that if I change that one, intuitively the other ones have to change. So what I'll show you is if I right click, the option to change the width or the height is not there, and that's okay, because I can make sure I highlight it or select it, come over to Format, and then click Row Height. In this case I'll choose the row, the column width. So if I change the column width of that particular one, and I change it to 30, watch what happens. See, I couldn't just change the width of just cell A2, because it's in line in the column with these. Everything changes accordingly. Okay, that makes sense. I can do the same thing with the same cell, and this time I can say row height. Now if I do row height and I change it to 30, it changes everything in this row, because it makes sense that if I try to change just the height of this one, that it's going to look really bad if this is the only one that changes and everyone else stays the same. So I just wanted to give you an example of how you can do that and not have to select everything at once. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a Control A like I showed you before, and this time I'm just going to use these numbers here. I'm going to leave these dates alone, and I want to go ahead and change the row height to 30, as well as the column width to, let's say, 20. Okay, so all of that has changed. Now this is going to make it easier for me to be able to show you the alignment. So we have 2002, and when you type in the year like that, Excel will default that particular number to the right side. it doesn't recognize whether it's a year or not. It just knows it as a number. And all of these numbers are defaulted to go to the rightmost side. Now, if I wanted to change how all of that looks, I could do a Control A to make sure everything is selected. And the only reason it looks like cell A2 is not selected is because I had it selected before I selected everything. So that's okay, it's nothing to worry about. And this time you can look under alignment right here in your home ribbon area. This is called a ribbon. And you can see that it has it set up as bottom aligned. Now, I'm not sure why it's not showing that it's right aligned, but it says bottom aligned. And let's say I want to put all of my numbers in the center. There's a couple of ways you can do it. If you look here, it says middle aligned, and then this one says center. So the top row is creating a way to align from the top to the bottom. So this is at the top, this is the middle, and this is bottom. Now the second row actually aligns from left to right. So I will click, and if you hover over it, it'll tell you what it is. You can see what it is, but it'll tell you what it is. And did you see how everything moved up? And now that's not enough for me because I don't like it on the right. So I'm going to click center. And now all of my information is centered within each cell. And that's what I prefer. So that is the way you can do that. If I wanted to have, say for example, these years all to be left aligned, I could click on this particular column, column A, and then I could click on top align and then align text left. So top align is going to take the number to the top of the cell, and then left align will bring it over to the right. And as you can see, you can play around with that as much as your heart desires to make it look exactly the way you want it. What we'll find out, and what you'll come to find out as you use Excel, is that when you learn how to input the data and to make it work properly, then you can make it look pretty. And this is one of the things that you would do to make it more aesthetically pleasing. And then you start to take away the grid lines, the cell lines. You start to add themes, color, things of that nature, and it makes it look really, really nice. And of course, if you decide that I don't really like that, you can go ahead and you can do a Control A to select everything. If indeed you want to change the whole look, you can come up to format, and let's say I want to auto-fit the row height, and then I'd like to auto-fit the column width, and then I'd like to come over and instead of, well, you really can't tell when it's small like this, but let's just say if I wanted to expand that out, it's already auto fitted. That's what that means. Let's say I wanted to expand that out and I wanted the years to be in the middle, then I would click on column A, and then that way I don't have to go and change every last one and format every last one, and just put those in the center and leave everything else alone. So as you can see, there's a lot to offer with using Excel as far as what we discussed today, the resizing of the cells or the whole entire column or the entire width of a row. And I know you can do it. This is very easy once you've been shown how anything is. And if you have any questions or concerns, please add them in the comments below this video. I've enjoyed teaching this particular mini lesson tutorial, and please don't forget to subscribe and like and share with others. I would certainly appreciate it, and I'd like others to be able to get the help and support that they need as well. Well, you have a nice day and make it a great day. Enjoy and come back and see us. Bye-bye.